Welcome to the Williams NFL Draft Scouting Report podcast, football family. I'm your host, aspiring GM slash scout Michael Williams. On today's podcast, you'll hear me and my co-host Marcus Thompson discuss some of the 2021 quarterbacks coming out in the 2021 NFL Draft. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Welcome to football family. I'm your co-host, aspiring GM slash scout Michael Williams. I got my family right here.
Other co-host, aka family.
How you doing today, man?
All right, it's Tuesday. Talking football. We talking football, ain't we?
Talking football. That's how we do.
right.
That's why it's
I'm
called
ready.
football family.
Well, we're going to discuss in the week. We got quarterbacks that show and improve with NCAA. I'm ready for all of it.
2021 draft. What's your perspective just seeing most of the guys that's possibly coming out quarterback wise? We got Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance. Trey Lance.
Oh, that was the big three.
Top three. Those are top three right now, man.
I don't know who Trevor Lawrence is. I know who Sunshine is. I don't know Trevor Lawrence.
But how do you feel about them? How do you feel about those three?
It's definitely and actually in my opinion, it's a God tier, Sunshine, and then it's the next tier, which Fields is on. Then it's like a little drop off, and then Trey Lance is right there in the next drop off. And after him, it's a chasm. We can fill in the blank on the next four. You can throw darts at the wall. You can give me anybody after those three.
But I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I think you got some talented guys in that back end. But just to touch on these first three, starting with Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick for the last 2 or 3 years, if he could come, it came out. But right now, even though I'm not a big Clemson fan, I will go ahead and admit that to our audience. But Trevor Lawrence is just something. He's on that trajectory that Andrew Luck was on as he guided his way to being the number one pick.
He actually like built very similar. Got some same attributes. Even his arm strength are like pretty much exact on the same tier as Andrew Luck. Like not the strongest, but like he can make every throw. I think we talked about this like last week when he walk in the room. He give you that like Tom Brady vibe.
He gives you that Tom Brady vibe, and being 6'5", 205 pounds with an arm that gives him the ability to make every throw. And it's crazy to say that I feel like it's no throw he can't make.
Yeah, and when I say vibe, I'm not talking about like what he necessarily brings to the table. It's just like if you're a teammate of Trevor Lawrence, you feel like any given circumstance, it don't matter what the points is, we got a chance to win no matter what. And then even on the opposing side of the field, you look over there, and the opponents, they see that you got Sunshine. We got to keep our foot on their necks if we're in that opportunity, because there's no game that he can't win. That's how I feel about Sunshine.
Well, as a freshman, okay, I'm gonna give you some numbers from freshman year to his junior year, which is right now. As a freshman, 65% completion percentage, 3,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
You said 32-4.
30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3,200 yards. As a sophomore, 66 completion percentage, 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns. A little bit higher interceptions at 8, but I think those were throws that he was trying to make up and try to top that freshman year where he just shocked the world and won a national championship as a freshman.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
and beat the Alabama defense that no one thought that he could beat as a freshman.
Yeah, I was just about to say in like a second year, not necessarily trying to prove yourself, but like being a little bit actually just like being more confident in your ability. I think that's where those interceptions come from. Like, hey, I'm not playing this like reserve role. I'm not just trying to mess up. I'm actually like taking control over the game and putting my imprint over the game. So I can attribute interceptions to him just being more confident in himself actually.
Right. Up till now, as a junior, he's got a 73% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns, and 4 rushing touchdowns with 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So if he keeps on that pace, he's gonna top both of his first 2 years at Clemson. And that's just something that speaks to his talent and to where he's gonna go after this season ends. Maybe New York, maybe New York Jets, if I might say. Maybe a team starts to tank worse than New York, if that's even possible.
I ain't gonna lie. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm entering the draft, but I'm telling the Jets I'm not going to you. That's literally what I'm telling them.
Wow.
They're too dysfunctional. I'm too much of a commodity. Like I think if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I have more notoriety than the Jets at this point. Like I'm above you in tier of hierarchy in the NFL.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you think he has that much power to where he can force the Jets to do what the Giants had to do with the Eli Manning situation? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
he
not the
definitely.
Giants, but the Chargers. What the Chargers
Yeah,
had to do with the Eli Manning situation.
he
What
definitely.
years ago with the Colts, the Baltimore Colts at that time, I believe.
Actually, I
But
think since Justin Fields is also in the draft, I think Justin Fields and Trey Lance being in the draft with him, I think that actually like helps his stance. Because if he just tells the team like, "Hey, I'm not going to you," they'll be like, "Well, we kind of disappointed, but we have a nice consolation prize waiting right here." So that'll cause like a trickle down effect. So it actually wouldn't hurt him because he's delegating that he's not going there, so he has every other team to choose from. So it actually helps with the other players being there, and like it's like a win-win situation for him. I don't get to go to the Jets, and I can go somewhere else. Somewhere else is better than being with the Jets.
I got you. I got you.
And truthfully, he could still. I think it's stupid to go back to college. But even if he cares about what the media thinks, he can just use that as an excuse. I'm going back to college. Like it's not going to benefit. Can you say it can't benefit him going back to college?
It,
Like is there a point where he
it,
can learn? Where he can? Is he still at a point where college can help him?
I say if he goes back to college, it would be to win another national championship. If he gets close next year, this is out. I mean, like maybe they lose to Alabama again in a national championship game in a close game, and maybe he's like, "Look, I want to finish off the right way and come back and finish off." Because
Isn't that ain't that what Deshaun Watson did?
he did, he did.
And so I guess that worked. Like it's always the perfect scenarios for Sunshine. Like everything always lines up for him. He has a quarterback that already has precedent of like coming back to Clemson to do it. So even if he decided like, "Hey, I'm going back to Clemson," it just further helped the allure of Clemson tradition of like we always come back and finish the job.
Now, in my
So
opinion,
situation.
that is all going to be based on if Clemson wins the national championship in 2020.
I think Sunshine's in a win-win scenario. And for one, like I'm an Ohio State fan, but I don't think anybody can beat the totality of what Clemson brings to the table. It's not a Clemson segment, but like they're just too good for me to even consider them losing. Like they just brought DJ in like the backup for one game and he won a game.
It's crazy.
Like Clemson's good, but I want to get off Clemson. This is about quarterback.
But hey, last thing on Trevor Lawrence, when he's done, he only thing he hasn't done in college is win a Heisman.
See,
That's
with how good he is, I don't think he really cares about that. I really think he just cares about winning and getting better at his craft. Like I don't think that really matters to him. In my opinion, it may not, but I just don't see him caring about the Heisman, especially with him like just getting like get diagnosed positive with COVID, and he says like all the right things. Like I just miss being out there with my teammates.
all right. But my NFL comp for Trevor Lawrence, we spoke earlier as we started. I feel like he has that Andrew Luck body, not body type, but that player style that he has the arm strength to make all the throws. He has the poise in the pocket under pressure. Um, he doesn't turn the ball over like Andrew Luck did. So I can see his trajectory going, like I say, on that Andrew Luck path and possibly taking that same path as for when first year Andrew Luck went to the Indianapolis Colts. He takes them to the playoffs.
So the only thing that I don't like about that take is I it's pretty like spot on as far as like comp wise. But when you say like he didn't throw as many interceptions, like they have two different types of scenarios. Like Stanford wasn't built like how Clemson is built. They wasn't as well built as Clemson was built.
Right.
So like their defense also was the stigma, like the Pac-12 doesn't play defense. Clemson sends defensive players to the draft just like they send offensive players to the draft. Stanford, the only players that went to the draft is Andrew Luck and the players that Andrew Luck threw to, which is mainly the tight ends. So it was really pretty much all on Andrew to get that team going. The Clemson, they just showed you they can function without Trevor. I mean, they function at a much higher level with Trevor, but they can win without him, as they showed you. So I'm not gonna blame him for throwing more interceptions.
Only
But
bad thing I would say with Trevor is just sometimes he needs to learn how to go down.
um,
He's
so would you say there's like some Carson Wentz in his game, or would you?
no, not Carson Wentz. He just I think he just as he gets drafted into the NFL, he just has to learn early in camp. Hey, it's okay to get a couple yards, but learn how to slide or get out of bounds.
I really think every quarterback in the NFL needs, not every quarterback, but for majority of the younger quarterbacks need to really get back to basics. Like Joe Burrow is learning this like very early in his career, and Russell Wilson, I guess with his baseball background, has this, and Kyler Murray can get better. Every play doesn't have to be a touchdown. Like I feel like once you figured that part out about football, and football extends to life too, you don't need a touchdown every play. You just need to be that much closer to getting to the other side. Like once you figure that out, everything like opens up for you. And I feel like when Trevor Lawrence figures that out, then he's an MVP level player, because then the whole field is open for him at all times, and he can hit somebody 50 yards down the field. He can run in. He can hit slants. He can literally do everything. So yeah, once he learns that this game is my game for me to control, I don't think anybody can do anything with him. Hence why he gets majority of the coverage.
Gotcha. Moving on to the next guy in this group, Justin Fields from Ohio State, 6'3", 223 pounds. Started his college career at Georgia. Then, once he realized he wasn't going to get that starting spot, transferred over to Ohio State, where he took over as a starting quarterback. And hey, he showed the world why he was a top recruit coming out of high school. Um, Only thing I can say about Justin's game is he has to learn how to handle pressure in the pocket, know when to escape the pocket, know when to just step up in the pocket and just make the throw.
Mm-hmm.
As far as arm talent, there's no doubt that he can sling it down the field. Has that kind of that Michael Vick strength arm, but he's right-handed. I know that kind of doesn't make sense, but he just has
No,
that arm to where he can just fling it, and it's going 50, 60 yards if he can get it there. If he's going on the go.
effortless.
So great athleticism. Going to be great on RPOs.
Great. I just want to question that. Great.
He's gonna once he learns like when to pull it, when not to pull it. Once he can get to the edge, he's not gonna be Lamar Jackson. He's not that. He's not that. Let me say that he's not gonna be Lamar
Yeah, but
Jackson.
that's why I want to say, what tier do you put him on? Like what?
He's
Like
gonna
there's
be
Mark.
in that tier to maybe that early Colin Kaepernick tier where Colin came in and started running that zone read and he got good at it at a point in time. And took this,
That's
and I know that's
that.
I don't know where people put Kaepernick as a quarterback, but at his peak, he was
Mm-hmm.
running the RPOs when he was doing that with the 49ers.
Yeah.
He really gained a lot of yards and made that 49ers team very versatile on offense, rushing and passing the ball.
The only thing I'm questioning, because I keep going back to the point you saying like athleticism. When I watch Justin, I don't think he's like uber athletic. So that's why I wanted you to like find out like a tier for him. Like, is he, as far as his athleticism, is he Lamar Jackson? It's rhetorical. He's not. Is he in the Kyler Murray? Is he in the Russell Wilson? Or
Uh,
is he in the Carson Wentz territory? Like, where athletically do you stack him up against?
not in that Russell Kyler Murray tier, but just above Carson Wentz. Just above Carson Wentz.
Okay, that's fine with me. Not saying that I need you need my validation, but like yeah,
Because he still is a threat to run. He's gonna be a threat to run, whether he doesn't, he doesn't give it to the back or not. Because he's got decent speed. If he runs the 40, he's gonna run 4.5, early 4.6s.
yeah. I was about to say I'm thinking 4.6. I'm thinking 4.6 for Justin.
And that's gonna be okay. He's good enough to get to the edge and probably make a play or two.
Yeah, that's definitely way more than okay. I'm dealing with that. Now, the only thing is, it's going to be some teams that have answers at quarterback in that range. Like the Giants, they literally already drafted a quarterback. Would you give up on Daniel Jones for Justin Fields?
At this point in the gonna really depend how Daniel Jones performs the rest of the season. If he performs poorly, I see him. I can see the Giants doing Arizona Cardinals saying, "Hey,
Trading him.
we giving up on you after the first year." Even though in the Arizona Cardinals situation, they switched head coach. Also,
Yeah.
I think still, if you feel like Justin Fields is better than Daniel Jones and you're in a position to draft him, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, that's basically your job gone down the drain.
So the only thing, like, see, I really question Daniel Jones. I'm gonna segue to this real quick, and then we get back to the other quarterback. The only thing I don't like about Daniel Jones is the fact that he has been here for a year and a half, and I still don't believe in him.
I don't. I'm on that book.
So I'm definitely taking Fields over Daniel Jones at this point. Because I told you how I feel about quarterbacks. You got to show me are out the window, and you gotta either make something happen or make the decision to not turn the ball over. And Daniel Jones has showed me he doesn't have the ability to make things happen consistently. And when he is in position to make something happen, he's turning the ball over, whether it be fumbles or interceptions. So I'm off Daniel Jones. You can give me the early Peyton Manning comparisons, and you can throw them in the trash.
Yeah, I wasn't. Like, Justin Fields just last year, his first year at Ohio State, 67% completion percentage, 3,273 yards, 41 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 484 rushing yards, and 10 touchdowns.
So I want to speak on Justin Fields for the moment because as an Ohio State fan, I'm actually like happy to have somebody that I feel is decent. Not saying he's like good, but somebody like when they get drafted, I can be like, I can root for this person when they get to the NFL because I feel like they have what it takes to exceed at the NFL level. Like when Dwayne Haskins got drafted, I never believed in him. When I actually used to like Troy Smith, but Dwayne Haskins be the most recent Ohio State quarterback product. He the first. Justin Fields is the first one I feel has a chance to be in a Pro Bowl at some point in his career. I never got that feeling from Dwayne Haskins. I get Pro Bowl caliber out of Justin Fields, like from a poise standpoint, from wanting to be in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. Because even his the battles he had with Trevor Lawrence, trying to figure out who's the number one and number two quarterback, he never shied away from wanting the spotlight. He always was the challenger to Trevor and saying, "I'm here the whole time. You're getting media coverage and I'm getting media coverage too because I'm worthy of being in that conversation." So I like Justin Fields from every single angle that he attacks football with.
Yeah, definitely, I definitely feel like Justin Fields is going to be a player to be reckoned with at this level. But let's move on to your boy Trey Lance, North Dakota State.
Trey Lance.
Talk
So
about him, man.
yeah, so every time I hear about Trey Lance, I get a smile because he is the exact type quarterback I would want if I'm building a franchise. Meaning, he's not at the top of the list when it comes to like media coverage and hype. He's right. He's a tier below that, but he has all the upside to be just as good as the other guys. Like I'm a big Jordan Love fan because if I'm a GM or if I'm running football operations, I can have a quarterback with the mold of a, it's kind of lofty, but a Hall of Fame caliber player. I just have to trust in my coaching staff and myself to groom him to be what I feel like he can be. And that's what Trey Lance is. Trey Lance is prototypical in size. He is a great athlete. He does have a strong arm. He literally can do everything, but he hasn't been playing as much as the other candidates. So there's not as much film on him, but he has all the tools. And so I'm willing to take a risk on a Trey Lance in the mid teens to later rounds in the draft. Those chunk of picks, I feel you can really benefit from taking that caliber of player. So that's why I'm in love with Trey Lance. He has every single measurable that I need to make a play after. He has every tendency to make a play after the play is over with. Or after the other team feels the play's over with because he's going to make a play.
That's going to be Trey Lance's questions as the draft process get closer. He has no body of work. He only played one game this year. Last year he was a full-time starter, and it was 7% completion percentage, 2,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, no interception, 1,100 rushing yards, and 14 touchdowns.
Playmaker.
So I would say playmaker. That's just gonna be the question for him. Body of work. You got one season as a full time starter. I know the NFL has been kind of iffy on 1 year wonders, saying
I
so.
mean,
I mean, if everything was normal, this would have been his second year, and he would have got another year to show his talent. But he chose to opt out. Well, no, North Dakota. I'm sorry, North Dakota only had one game this year. So, and he decided to declare instead of going back to North Dakota State. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams evaluate him. Like you said, he has a strong arm, ability to get out the pocket, make a play on his own, unscripted.
beautiful word, unscripted, exactly.
So it's going to be interesting. I can see him going in the mid to late first round, but I think by the time the draft officially gets here, he'll be in that top 10 consideration because
Which
someone's gonna fall in love with him.
that's
And
also what I thought of too. But like the fact that he doesn't have not even close to what Jordan Love had to go off of. So I think that will keep him out of the top 10, which I'm perfectly. I don't think he should be drafted in the top 10. I actually think he should be drafted in the late first round. But keep going. My apologies.
no, go ahead. But I was just saying, it's it's gonna be interesting to see how his draft process develops throughout the rest of the year and the time it comes
If
to the draft.
you could think of one team that you think he fits, whether it be due to timeline or whatever. What do you think? What team do you think fits Trey Lance?
I would have to say Jack
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. If they miss out on Lawrence and Fields and they're in that range, Jacksonville.
So, so how many wins does Jacksonville have? Like one or two this season? But they're like they're definitely
They
like
have two
ranked
wins
top.
this season.
So they're in the top five as of currently constructed, I believe. So that
But I feel if they're not in that one or two spot by the end of the season, they're gonna miss out on Fields and Lawrence
do the
because
are the Jets
if one of them goes one, the other one's going two.
are the Jets still in NFL?
The Jets are still in the NFL.
Are the Giants in the NFL?
Yes, sir, they are.
Are
So
the Cowboys in the NFL?
yes, those are teams that you're competing against to get those
True.
top spots. So someone's gonna take a chance on Lance in the top 10 by the time the draft comes around, because Dallas, do you believe in Dak?
I was
Are
literally
y'all are y'all really in love with Dak
I was
as y'all say y'all are?
I was just thinking.
Like I said, Jacksonville, Gardner Minshew. I guess that experiment is over because look where it got you.
So if say you're in New England, would you draft Trey in the top 10?
Yes,
Now say you're Dallas, would you franchise Dak and draft Trey Lance?
no, that's you might as well if you're gonna turn the franchise over to dude, just turn it over to him. It's no need unless it was an established starter, which Dak is, yes. But why tag him and waste all that money where you can just let him go in free agency, and
So
you go spend that money somewhere else.
the reason I say that tag Dak and draft Trey. So I think a lot of how things should go is about relationships and how you do nurture certain situations. So since Dak had been trying to get a long-term contract, then he suffered the injury. I think it would be like a great homage to let Dak rehab. I mean, like, what are you really winning if you're the Cowboys? You're not winning nothing this year or next year. To let Dak rehab, give some sentiment to his injury, and all things play into effect. His mom died. Just show the NFL like one of the men of the year um, contendees deserves respect in this regard. We're gonna pay him this, let him rehab, and also if he's able to compete and show Trey Lance what it's like to be a quarterback of a similar tier caliber, learn the NFL ropes, and who best to learn under than a Dak Prescott.
If I'm the GM of the Cowboys, or let me say, if I'm Jerry Jones,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not gonna pay Dak what you want, what he thinks he's deserved to be paid, and you're in the top 5, top 3 possibly to draft one of a Lawrence, a Fields, or a Lance.
No, that only in regards to Lance. If I'm if
Yeah,
I'm if
but I'm just saying it just somehow they end up getting a chance to draft one of those 3. But why franchise tag is that and spend all that money on a quarterback that, yeah, you may get 8-8.
no, see, this is what I'm saying. I'm actually assuming Dak isn't going to play at all, and
So
I'm
you
only
pay why pay him to be an expensive backup?
because for one, you're not winning anything anyway. I'm trying to explain. I only do this if my target is Trey Lance. If I'm drafting um, Lawrence or Fields, Dak can do whatever he pleases. But the reason I franchise tag him with Trey Lance is because I don't think Lance is ready anyway. So in regards to like building the Cowboys brand back to being a reputable organization, I'm giving, because Dak played when his mother died. He's giving like his whole entire soul to the Cowboys franchise, only to look like to be slapped in the face by Jerry Jones by not getting a long-term contract. So in order to like not really backtrack, but make up for lost time, the injury happened. I'm gonna pay you for this 1 year absurdly when we really don't have to pay you. But out of respect, we'll pay you this year to just mentor our new up and coming quarterback. That's the only reason why I would do it. If my target is Trey Lance. For the other two, I'm letting them start, and Dak can go on to other ventures. But in this regards, for Trey Lance is why I would do that. That's the only reason. They need to the Cowboys are in a disgusting. They're called America's team for a reason. America looks like what it looks like, and the Cowboys are a reflection. But that's my reason. We can agree to disagree, but that's just how I feel. That's how I would run that if I'm Jerry. But I'm not Jerry, so
I don't think nobody knows what Jerry's thinking sometimes. So it'll be surprising how that situation folds, and see if the Cowboys are in that situation. Do they pull the trigger and draft another quarterback in the top 10, top 5 possibly?
I mean, because even look at the makeup of their team. They're still talented. Literally only missing a quarterback. But I really don't even. It goes beyond like the talent on the team at this point. There's other issues. It's not just the talent on the team. It's like, are the coaches? I personally don't think Mike McCarthy needs an NFL job, but that's a whole nother discussion. And I just don't think from top to bottom they're run right. Hence why everything happens how it happens to them. They finally get a quarterback that they've been trying to find since Troy Aikman, which I believe Tony Romo was good enough, but that's a whole nother discussion too. They've been trying to find stability. Dak was the stability. They treated him like nothing, and that's why the rest of the whole team is crumbling. They don't respect football. It sounds crazy. The America's team doesn't respect football.
All right, moving on. Uh, the
And we
next
have the
back.
one of the other tiers of quarterbacks.
This is gonna be the second tier. Guys who I think are gonna be that tier quarterbacks that go second round, third round, fourth round. Guys that's gonna that have the talent, but they're not in that tier with Lawrence, Fields, and Lance. So
Um, before you get into the rest of them, let me ask you about one in particular because I'm interested to hear on what you have to say about this one because
mm,
he's my favorite of I think this group of quarterbacks. Sam Ellinger. What do you think is his strengths,
now
weakness,
eligible.
and how do you think his current game translates to the NFL?
So we discussed him before. Sam is he's an athletic quarterback. He's 6'3", 230 pounds. Uh, in 2018, he had 3,292 yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. In 2017, he had 1,915 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And that was coming in as a part-time starter
Mm-hmm.
and able to rack up 385 rushing 385 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, 482 rushing yards in 2018 and 16 touchdowns. So he's showing you that he can pass the ball, but he can also run the ball. He's
Mm-hmm.
a guy that he fits what the NFL quarterback is pro- probably turning into now from what it was in the 90s was the statue quarterback. Your quarterback now has to be able to at least get out the pocket, make a throw on the run, or if he can break the pocket, get a couple yards, slide, and get out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a limited amount of statue quarterbacks right now. The only ones we could really say that are statue quarterbacks and are successful, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. The only two statue quarterbacks left that are still doing their thing.
So what do you consider Big Ben?
Oh yeah, Big Ben. Big. It sometimes look like Ben's running, but you gotta. But everyone knows Big Ben can get off a couple yards at a time if he had to.
And one more quick question, and we'll get back into it. Do you consider Philip Rivers successful?
No,
Okay, that's all on that. But he
but
definitely, as what quote unquote statue quarterback, he is that though, right?
yes, he is a statue quarterback, but he's not successful.
Okay,
Stats may say otherwise, but I'm just performance.
got you.
Um,
Overall team success. He doesn't have enough for you to consider him a success.
but back to Sam. Like I said, he's a quarterback that he's gonna have to really work on his vision in the pocket. He forces a lot of throws. Things he has to work on as he gets into the NFL. Texas just as a team though, they when he first got there, they were on a rebuild, quote unquote, in the college as far as college football was going. They were on a big rebuild with Ty Herman as their head coach. So
Mm-hmm.
when Sam really got infused as the starter, the offense did pick up, but he still wasn't making the big throws, as people would say. He wasn't making those throws in the key moments. So I feel like he will be a quarterback. Even right now, he has 65% completion percentage. A 65% completion percentage. So he's not bad at putting the ball in the money. It's just his when he has to do it, can he do it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one thing as this college football season goes along that he's gonna have to work on. And if he can somehow get Texas back into the top 25, as far as getting into the top, at least the top 15,
Mm-hmm.
I could see Sam going in the late third, early fourth.
Yes.
But he can get, quarterbacks get pushed up. Some teams get, trigger happy. Teams may, surprise you. So nobody really thought the Eagles would draft Jalen Hurts. They knew they would
Which is
they knew they would draft a quarterback maybe somewhere late in the draft. They didn't think it was going to be that high, and nobody thought Jalen Hurts would go that high. They thought he would at least fall to the late second round. The Eagles come up and get him early to mid second round, and there you go. That's a surprise. That was a big surprise of the draft. So you never know with some of these NFL teams of how they feel about some of these quarterbacks. Some of them feel they have first round talent, but they may have an injury or maybe just it's just something about him that doesn't make him a complete first rounder, but he has that first round talent. So
mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard with quarterbacks sometimes with NFL teams. Some teams have them rated different, so and hence why you have some guys going either earlier than what everyone expected or later than everyone expected.
Quick question. I want to jump to the next quarterback real quick. I think talent-wise, he has the ability to be in the top 10, but I don't think he's put it all together yet. How you feel about Zach Wilson?
He's a guy at BYU that, him being 6'3", 203 pounds, I think it's just he has to work on his turnovers. Just him controlling himself in the pocket, not being afraid of the pressure, not, letting the play develop. Just protect the ball. It was protecting the ball for him. I feel like he's gonna be a day two. He can be a day two guy. More than likely, maybe day three.
How much you want to bet?
Zach
Wilson. Zach Wilson. I'm going out on a limb right here. I'm gonna say Zach Wilson to the Vikings.
I bet.
I'm gonna say Zach to the Vikings. Wherever the Vikings land at, I think they're gonna land with Zach Wilson. I think they're tired of seeing Aaron Rodgers, and they want a quarterback of a similar stature, similar skill set, underdeveloped but similar skill set, and they want their own chance at Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they just hand the ball off to Dalvin 30 times. Let's try to pass it a couple times.
Yeah, I just feel like if he can control his turnovers, he
roll over his turnovers.
He has to control. He has to control his turnovers. As far as his talent, he has the talent to make an NFL team and be a productive NFL quarterback. But if he turning the ball over, aka Jameis Winston, 30 for 30,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna find yourself as a backup. But good talent. I like I say, day two, day three guy.
All right. One of my best friends is a Florida Gators fan. He keeps telling me about some quarterback they got. Kyle Trask. Is he worth me investing in if I'm an NFL team in the first round, second round?
If you invest in him in the second or third round, I know some sites have him rated lower, but I think Kyle Trask is more of a playmaker than everybody, really thinks he is. Being 6'5", 239 pounds,
I was about to say he fits the mold. He fits the mold of the
fits that
dying quarterback.
he fits that mold of the NFL quarterback that you wanna see. Now, it's again with him, his decision making at the wrong time. Uh, Against Ole Miss, uh, he had some great throws. He didn't throw an interception, but he sometimes forces the ball to the receiver, and he can't get locked on to one receiver. The one thing that's gonna kill him. Um, but He's a guy that's not gonna run a lot. He's not mobile as far
Mm.
as if you compare him to any of the other guys in the draft. As
So
far as quarterbacks, he's probably gonna be labeled as a statue.
would he be along the lines of like Matt Ryan?
He fits that Matt Ryan tier to where he can be good enough to get a couple yards, or maybe get a 8 yard
Like a yard scramble or something
like
like
eight
that.
yard scramble for a first down out of nowhere, because the defense really is not gonna defend you running the ball. So
So like nothing's there. I guess I got to take the free 8 yards, right?
right. So he's that type of quarterback. Um, he's done well at Florida as far as controlling his poise, as far as going through the SEC, as far as facing LSU, Alabama, Mississippi State, um, Ole Miss. So he's faced South Carolina. He's faced so much defensive talent throughout his time at Florida. I think he's learned a lot as far as good and bad. And
Mm-hmm.
if he's developed the right way, he's gonna be a starter his second to third year in the NFL. But
Second to third.
someone has to believe in him. And you gotta have a team, just like most rookie quarterbacks, you gotta have a team that's kind of molded towards them.
Mm-hmm.
So get him on a team that's, a team that's probably more than likely gonna have to be run dominant at first, just to
Mm-hmm.
get him comfortable, and then you can work off the play action. And that's when you can start getting into your shot, your spread, your empty, and all that.
So I guess my early Mark Sanchez New York Jets career.
No, I'm not gonna say that. Uh, if you want to give me a count for Trask,
I'm not. I wasn't saying like player comp, but like situation comp.
situation. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Situation.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to be on a team probably where either when they draft him, they're gonna be like, we're gonna develop him for a year or two, and he's gonna be our guy, or they're drafting him because they just believe he's a backup.
Okay. So like, he's a good baseline for a backup. He's not gonna give you starter production, but if he has to come in for a game, he's not gonna kill you.
Yeah, but if developed the right way, could be a productive starter.
So the next quarterback I'm interested in, only because he took over for the man that got his first start this weekend, Mac Jones.
Matt Jones is gonna work his way up to being a day three pick.
Okay. I
Uh,
was I was
day
I was,
three,
I was, I was like,
day
if he's
three.
a,
If he People are gonna probably put him. They're gonna make a lot of, oh, it's because he has those receivers, yada yada yada. He has the offensive line. He has the running back. But can we sometimes just look at the talent and just say, God dang, he can play?
I mean, well,
Like,
it's not the Alabama that we used to. They are putting up points on that side of the ball for the first time and on like they consistent.
and it's not like he's turning the ball over. I mean, he had some key turnovers in that Ole Miss game,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, he's taking care of the ball.
I was like, so what did he complete like 78% of his passes or something like that?
He's on that track. He's on that track of that completion percentage for the season.
That's
So,
like Drew Brees territory.
so
Early Drew Brees, not current Drew Brees.
right, right, right. So I think anyone that kind of has doubts that Matt Jones is gonna just use that excuse of, oh, it's because he has those Alabama wide receivers or those Alabama linemen or Alabama running backs.
But forgetting he's still the player
Yeah,
that
he's
has to.
still the guy that has to do all the work to get the ball to him.
I mean, at the end of the day, I really think people forget that is the job of the quarterback: get the ball to the playmakers. Like, and if he does that, he's doing his job, and whatever that turns to is what it turns to. My job is to get the ball to Smith, Waddle, Michi. That's my job.
Right. So, man, he made a throw against Missouri, man, and I was just like, yo, can this dude not be
But
considered one of the top quarterbacks in a NFL draft coming up? I
I
mean,
think
he's getting some Heisman consideration
I don't,
so far,
I don't put
but I
stock.
don't think he's not gonna win it in my opinion. But he's gonna just for him getting consideration off of this year starting, then starting the rest of last year after relieving Tua because he got injured. I mean, the guy the guy can play. Can we? I think we just need to come to a point where we can say the guy can play.
I was about to say Falcons should draft him. No
Uh,
more overall. No more. What Falcons first round
we got to work on some things before we bring in a quarterback.
2021 draft, Mac Jones to the
Um,
Atlanta Falcons. I'm with it.
we'll see about that.
And
We'll see.
Matt Ryan, 49ers. He don't want to play. He don't want to play in Atlanta no more anyway. They don't love him.
They do love him, man. They just know we struggling right
What quarterbacks we got left? The A&M quarterback, uh, Mon. How do you feel about him?
now. Kellen Mond, another guy that has the body type 6'4", 225 pounds, uh, mobile.
I was
Uh,
about to say, and you had me on the tip of that. Instead of just talking about Mon, talk about Mond and Newman, and compare the two and compare and contrast the two's games because I think they're in the same kind of tier. Compare and
they,
contrast
they
the two.
they both, like I say, Mon has the body type. With Newman, same thing. He has the body type. They actually it's a 5 pound difference. Mond is 225. Newman is 230.
Yeah,
So
I thought that'd be real.
With Mond, he's gonna have, not gonna say a more impressive body of work, but I think
But
if you gave someone an opinion about Newman and Mon, I feel like they would go Mon. But the only thing that comes with him is he has to be consistent with his play. He
Kellen,
has Kellen Mond has great games at some points in the season, but then, like he's like a roller coaster. He goes up and down, up and down. In 2018, he had a 57% completion percentage, 31 3,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Not bad.
In 2019, his percentage got better, 62%. Yards went down, touchdowns went down, interceptions stayed the same. He as a runner, 500 rushing yards in 2019 and 8 touchdowns. In 2017, he had 340 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he's he's growing. Mine is a talent that you're gonna have to develop. I see him going fourth, fifth round. Uh, like I say, he has the arm talent. It's just his inconsistency is gonna have him down draft board. I think NFL evaluators can see the talent is there, but it's just can you bring it every week? Are you gonna give me that 4 touchdown, you know, 200-yard game, no interception, or are you gonna give me 2 interceptions, you know, maybe 200 yards and maybe 1 touchdown? Are you gonna give me those games every week? So
So,
it's inconsistency about mine. As far as Newman, depending on how you look at his tape, when he was at Wake Forest, that's gonna his opinion, give you your opinion on him. Uh, while he was at Wake Forest in 2018, he had a 60% completion percentage, 1,833 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And in 2019, his percentage went up just a tad, 61% completion percentage, 2,868 yards and 26 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
mhm.
And he also scored 6 rushing touchdowns. So he's like mine. He's mobile, has arm talent. A guy that people thought was going to be the starter at Georgia, but he ended up opting out the focus on the draft. So it's going to be kind of hard to evaluate because all you have to look at is the Wake Forest tape, which is okay, but it's not. It's not the he's gonna sneak up into the third round or guarantee second round guy. It's gonna
Gotcha.
it's gonna be, hey, he's probably gonna be a guy we have to develop.
So fourth, fifth round. What you say? All right. Any other offshoot quarterbacks you want to discuss?
I just want to do an honorable mention for this guy, Ian Book, a big quarterback out of Notre Dame. A lot of people have mixed feelings about him, but I think he's a quarterback that may end up surprising a lot of doubters um, if he gets drafted. Some sites have him going undrafted or late sixth round guy,
So
but
what talents does he bring to the table? Where's the indecision come from? Does he have a strong arm? Does he have mobility?
I'm
Does he
a,
have a
he to
team?
me he has a strong enough arm to. He's not a downfield thrower. He's gonna be that guy that gives me. He can throw short to intermediate. He's mobile. That's a lot, saying a lot for a Notre Dame quarterback, because they usually just churn out statues at quarterback. But he's a guy that can affect the rush game also. So him as a developmental quarterback will be, I think he's gonna be one of those guys that we look at and say, "Oh snap, we didn't think he was gonna shine like that."
So like let's say if you like landed with the 49ers, you'll probably pay attention to him in the next like 2-3 years as somebody.
Yeah, if he gets with the right coordinator, somebody that be like, oh, okay. maybe he's something.
Got you.
He
So
just
he needs
doesn't.
to.
He just doesn't have the size that people want.
How tall is he?
6 foot, 212 pounds. So,
212.
but as we seen with some guys, as far as like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, so far, they've had some success. So it's not like it's impossible for guys.
Okay.
But I think that's it, man. I think we ran through just about most of the quarterbacks I wanted to talk about. Uh, that was a good show. Anything you want to finish up with as far as the quarterbacks? What do you expect out of this class, quarterback?
So, actually, I feel like the position of quarterback is becoming easier to play. I've been feeling like that for a while now. So,
Mm,
because defenses are like they're pretty much bound to a couple different scenarios. I think being mobile allows you to cut in half what you need to know. So, like, if you're mobile at this junction in the league, I think it's like the cheat code. Like Lamar Jackson, for instance, like when you can cut off like half of what the defense can do to you, there's only but so much you have to do to be successful. So with the majority of these quarterbacks in this class having mobility, the only thing they need to get together is between the ears and just cutting down on turnovers. And I think that really raises the bar for everybody's floor in this draft. So like everybody in this draft has like a pretty good baseline to be like at least outside of the top outside of the top 2 to 3. Everybody can be a backup quarterback just off the presentation that they've given already, with room to become starters and with the other 3 or 4 upper echelon with Lawrence, Fields, what I believe in Wilson and Lance. So like I like the class. Actually, I think I like it better than last year's, to be honest.
real quick before we end it, Lawrence or Fields? I know you love Lance, but if it came down to it, Lawrence or Fields?
Um, Lawrence.
All
I
right.
was I was trying to think if it depends on situation, but it's pretty much Lawrence in every situation imaginable. Lawrence is bigger, um, up until COVID, more durable, um, and he seems like he embraces the challenge of winning. Not more than Fields, but with Lawrence having those other attributes as well as that same mental edge, I think he would have over most other competitors. It just like cements him atop everybody. So it's Lawrence. If I could rank them out of like 100, Lawrence would probably like a 90, like a 96. Feels at like a 93 to me.
Okay. All right, man. I appreciate all your help and all your helpful opinions
I appreciate
on
you
the two
too.
on
Yeah,
this 2021 quarterback draft. Um,
2022.
2022 is gonna be what, BJ?
Yeah.
Well, I mean DJ. I'm sorry. It's gonna be DJ.
Uh, I don't know. He gives me Dante Culpepper vibes, and I don't know how I feel about Dante Culpepper, so we can wait on that.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Love you.